Ah, the... I don't think the merchant elemental that we are interacting with pays any more than any other merchant. So we're just fine selling things here. We're not gonna get anything extra out of this. Don't really see a reason to buy some of these spells. Sure, there are new ones, but what's the point of having them in storage? They are sort of bidding for space anyhow. I'll try to buy things that I can use immediately. I might have to get some, store them away. Mass hold person, mass hold monster. We don't have mass charm monster. Protection from enemy. Protection from energy. I see my spells. Ah. The invisibility. Shroud of Blame. Don't think so. Insert transformation. No. Weapon of impact. Yes. True Seeing. We would lose quite a bit of ability score, armor class mainly, if we use that, but in a tough spot it could be worth it. We should divide some of these potions. Don't have that much weight in it, but still. Selling the light cures potions. Not really worth much anyway. We really want cure potions, we can just buy them. They're not that expensive. Don't want a massive amount of them anyhow. Do I have a lightning bolt? Surely I have lightning bolt. Do not have lightning bolt. Circle of invulnerability. Nope. Ah, yes, sand. What about him?
Listening, really?
Yes, really. Actually, somewhat more interested in attack spells for you. Just need a few little things. Spells are fairly cheap. Doesn't really matter how many we buy them. Very few attack spells. Do we need to sell something?
How can I help?
How can you?
Yes. I'm ready if you need me.
That's it. So we didn't have that much to sell anyway.
Yes. I'm ready if you need me. Yes.
Okay.
I'll take the lead. Time to finish this.
220,000 gold for us. Importantly, we are ready to go. I think I'll talk to people. I mean, why not? It's something I have pretty much avoided doing all the time so far. Now we're already in the second chapter. I think it's about time we get to know at least the core crew. Wonder if I could do this all at the same time if I go to the inn. Well, Kelgar, Nishka, Quora, Gropnar maybe? Those big people we need to know. We're also relying on sand, I suppose. I don't care about Casimir, that's pretty much a lost cause. Start with Quora.
Great. What's wrong now?
Tell me about yourself.
Why? Like you care? If I didn't almost burn down your uncle's dumb establishment, I wouldn't even be here.
Hey!
Oh, stow it, you drunk.
I hear you haven't been doing well in the academy.
Well, it's not hard to guess which side of the classroom you heard that from. Those instructors. They don't know what they're talking about. And if I had to page through one more dusty tome, forget it.
We have basically an option to side here. Side with the instructors, and in general I guess with the academy, or side with her. Since we don't care really at all what the academy thinks of us, and they're not here to hear it. Who needs instructions? Instinct and experience are the best teacher.
Finally, someone who can speak some sense. I wish you could tell the masters and the students at school that. They keep them all sheltered there like sheep. How are they ever going to learn anything from a book or potion bottle? Go on and ask.
So Quora is as independent and as she portrays herself, she's very easy to manipulate. Because I guess she's somewhat immature. Who's Jacris?
Glenna's father, and one of the masters at the school. Deals with enchantments and reagents. powerless, like the others.
He doesn't seem to like you much.
He's all bluster and talk like the rest of them. I was defending myself, and if he's too blind to see that, then let him try to do something. He even has to get his students to fight for him. A worthless house, if you ask me. His daughter deserved what happened.
Yeah, we have a similar set of choices. Basically, choose who to side with. If he tries to fight with you and us, he'll get what he deserves.
My thought exactly. We'll teach him what you won't find in any school book. Go on and ask.
You know who those students were who attacked us.
They're from a rival house at the academy. Some of their students were punished when they decided to attack me.
Attack you?
Yeah, that's why I burned down their stables and practice yard, and then torched their common hall. They had it coming. Eventually their master, Jokeris, stopped me. But if he hadn't, I would have taken the battle right to all of them. Of course, now they're trying to ambush me in the streets now that I'm outside of academy protection.
What did they do exactly?
Talking behind my back, ridiculing me for my studies, saying I was temperamental and that I lacked any sort of discipline. When I confronted them on it, they finally admitted it. So I struck back.
So, you struck first?
No, they were attacking me first. Gossip, slander. I won't abide insults from those tome readers.
Sometimes the weak must be shown true power. And if they refuse to see it, they must be hurt until they do.
Right! Sometimes you have to take a stand. Otherwise, people will walk all over you.
Yeah, how is Clara not evil?
Go on and ask.
Okay. Why were you fighting those academy students at the dragon? It seems like we can't really get anything out of Cora, but she's offering us influence milking opportunities.
Why not? They're always talking about me behind my back at the academy, and I decided I wasn't gonna take any more. I know more than they ever will about magic. They're simpering little girls who can't even levitate a fork if they wanted to.
All her topics are about herself. They talk behind your back? About what?
Oh, that I'm dangerous, that I act all superior, that I talk down to them. So what if I do? All they get from magic is what they read out of a book.
If they're weak, they deserve your scorn.
Yeah, exactly. When they're at my level, maturity and spell-wise, then they can have cause to talk. I mean, I know what power feels like rushing through me. They've barely sipped from the stream.
And what does power feel like?
It's like this shiver that starts spreading through you. A warmth, like it's coming from your heart and your head all at once. And you feel that warmth get hot. So much so you think you can burn anything in your path, yet you'll only be brushed by it. I can't even explain it, but trust me, I know.
Yeah. I suppose that's Sorcerer's way of handling magic. She doesn't really understand what's going on. It's more like a natural instinct. Just as long as you know when to unleash your power, that's enough for me.
Oh, I'll be ready. I'm looking forward to it, actually. Go on and ask.
How much? Influence gain 3. Influence gain 3. Influence gain 3. Influence gain 3. Yep. suppose it doesn't really matter. Who do we talk to next?
Some way I can help?
What do you do?
Why? What don't I do? Really? Sometimes it's hard to keep track of it all. I play songs, write songs, build things, repair things, pick things, plant things, tinker with things until they're fixed. Or, well, need fixing. But that's rare. Sort of. I suppose you'd say I stick my hands in just about everything, including dark holes filled with phantom spiders. But that's another story.
How do you get new songs?
Some just come as one advances in the craft and gets more experience in the world.
Do you do with all the knowledge you collect?
What? Why, I collect it.
But why?
I don't know. What an odd question. I like to gather facts and notes and journals just for the sake of knowing, really.
Isn't it hard to keep track of it all?
Well, yes, but that's sort of the point, sometimes. When you have all those facts and numbers and words around your skull, you can pull out whatever you need to write a song. And well, songs can help, sort of, to get more facts and lore. And the whole process begins again. Of course. Ask away. Always ready with answers. Yes, indeed.
Do you know what Kalakcha means?
Kalakcha. Kalakcha. Let me think. Well, it's not gnomish, goblin, orcish, elvish, draconic. Well, unless the K is silent, but even then it would mean gizzard stone or its equivalent. But you know, I did notice you have a talent for languages. Don't you know this word?
Yes, but there doesn't seem to be a translation for it.
Well, that's odd. It may not be a word at all. Might be a title or a name. Most peculiar. Trust me, most of the names I've been called you can't translate in any language. They're not even real words as much as a succession of violent images.
And that was Grobnar's options. This is actually very useful for me, because Korra got a lot of influence through dialogue, but Grobnar didn't get jack shit, so if we want to get influence with him, we probably have to have him in the party most of the time. So he'll encounter situations where that can happen. Chandra Jiro.
What? What are we stopping for?
What's wrong? No, are you alright? You look a little lost.
Well, aside from the frequent kidnapping, yes, I suppose I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. But don't worry, I'll try to keep up. So don't trouble yourself, all right?
Look, if you have any questions, ask. I'm here to help you. She seems to respond fairly well to kindness and caring in general.
All right. I mean, I know I haven't been around you as much as, say, Kelgar Idiot Fist.
Hey!
Calm down. Monks aren't supposed to get sensitive about things like that.
Well, Iron Fist monks are. We have our pride.
I think I need you to explain to me one more time what we're doing. We're being hunted and accused, put on trial, and you've got silver things in you.
Shards.
Yeah, shards. I got it, Sand. Thanks.
I derive pleasure from clarification, Miss Jero.
Anyway, with all that's been going on, I'm not sure I understand why it's been going on.
What don't you understand?
Well, first off, the shards in you. Sorry, the shard in you and the shards you carry. Where do they come from?
Well, one is buried in my chest, the others I simply find.
What are they shards of?
A powerful sword of an extraplanar people.
Okay, see, that's where you start to lose me. Why is this thing inside you? And why is it broken? And what are you supposed to do with it? Kill a dragon or...
I'm supposed to use it against the King of Shadows.
And the King of Shadows is who? Like Elminster, except evil?
I have no idea yet.
But you're willing to keep trying to find out?
There's not much choice. If I don't try, it just makes things worse.
You mean this Black Garius? He's also helping the King of Shadows, right?
He's something of a mystery.
So what do those Githyanki want with you? Are they with the King of Shadows?
They want the shards and the sword back.
But one of those shards is in your chest. If it comes out, you're dead.
Well, it didn't kill me going in, so it stands to reason it might not kill me coming out. I don't see why it would. That's part of the problem, yes.
This is the most bizarre series of events I've ever heard.
Not me.
Not now, Grobnar.
All right.
So what are you going to do about all this exactly?
This probably matters quite a bit. No plan at all. Yeah, that's something a leader probably shouldn't say at any point. Always gotta have a plan. It's my duty to stop the King of Shadows. I have the shards, it's my responsibility. I don't really think this, but...
All right. Well, as long as you don't get me killed doing it, I'll do what I can.
Don't worry, I have faith you'll pull through.
Well, I'm glad you think so. But thanks. I appreciate the support. All right, go on and ask.
What can you tell me about Amangero?
Amangero was my great-grandfather. Or my great-great-grandfather. To be honest, I can't remember which. I heard he was a little eccentric, but harmless. He died a long time ago. My mother told me that he saw me a few times as a babe, but I was too young to remember. Mother said that he would cradle me and sing to me, and I would, well, pull out his beard hairs.
Why would a harmless wizard construct a lethal haven?
Well, I thought it was just a story. You know, make-believe. And wizards do protect their towers. I thought she was just exaggerating. I mean, the whole inescapable death trap and thousands of spiders from the abyss thing. It was hard to take my mother seriously when she said things like that.
Do you know where we could find this haven?
I've been thinking about it, but honestly, I have no idea where it is. I doubt it would help much anyway. And the whole idea of having to spill my blood to get in there, well, I'm not in any real hurry to find it either.
Well... Does it have to be Gero blood?
That's what my mother said. I wouldn't mind trying other people's blood first if they volunteer. Maybe we could bleed Bishop. Try it out first.
The way you're going, girl, I think we'll have more than enough of your blood when we find this haven. If we ever do.
His hearing's a little too sharp. Still, Mother was pretty insistent on the blood part. And a whole pint of it. That's a little much.
That's probably an exaggeration. I mean, the guy himself would have had to do the same thing. So I don't think anyone would design a system where you'd have to relinquish a significant amount of your own blood just to gain entrance. More likely, if there's some kind of blood test, it's very trivial, or it refers to something like you have to have that blood in some form or you can't gain entrance. So just being part of the family might be enough.
Yeah, probably. Alright, go on and ask.
Can you tell me what you know about Ember?
I traveled there last season. The thought that everyone there is dead. It's hard to believe. I mean, there aren't any militia or soldiers there, really. If anyone attacked it, they couldn't have put up much of a fight.
Do you know anyone who lived there?
A few. One or two I knew really well. The quartermaster was always kind to me, although he was a little too obsessed with his logbook. Had to track every shipment in, out, along the coast, off the coast. But still, a nice person.
Anyone else?
There was Elaine, of course. She let me stay in her family's home when the roads were washed out while I was there. You know, she did quite a bit of trading herself between Ember and Port Last and the neighboring villages. I wonder if she was in Ember when it was attacked.
Any idea where we could find her?
We could check in Port Last. If she was on a trade run, she may have passed through there. The steward of Port Last, Hieromus, might know more. Although, if he thinks you're the killer, don't expect a warm reception. All right, go on and ask.
What happened to your family at Highcliffe?
There's not much to tell. To be honest, my mother died many years ago. Bad marsh fever. Not much I could do. As for my father, well, I didn't really know him. Died when I was very young. He's more like a blur than a memory. What about you? I mean, if you want to talk about it.
My family?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about it. I mean, your father, or your uncle, he seems very nice.
I don't really know Duncan too well.
Duncan seems nice enough. Be great to have kin who ran a tavern in my family. Maybe Duncan may know something about your family if you asked. I mean, if any of my kin lived, I'd have a quiver full of questions for them.
I may ask him when I get the chance.
Yeah, I'd do that. One day he may not be around, and you'll have lost the chance. I still think of questions I wished I'd asked my mother.
My father, my foster father, was a little distant.
Distant? Why?
I don't really know.
Well, you might want to ask why you still have the chance. He may have his reasons, and if he were to pass away suddenly, you'd never know.
He never seemed to like me much. I'm worried he blames me for the death of his wife.
You mean your mother?
No, Dagon's wife Sheila. My mother I never knew at all.
What happened? I mean, if you want to talk about it. Don't mean to pry like a town gossip or anything.
She died with my mother in a battle in West Harbor. Died trying to save me.
That's terrible. I really don't know what to say. She must have loved you very much. I didn't realize what you'd been through. That you lost your mother. It's kind of strange. The way you carry yourself, it doesn't seem like you'd ever suffered any loss. Then I hear about this. Anyway, I'm sorry to hear it.
I know more about my trainer than I do about the rest of my family.
I was wondering, who trained you to be a hero? Who was your teacher?
And I can't answer the question. All the options are the same I had in the previous section. My mother is a mystery to me.
Doesn't your father know anything about her? It seems like he would.
I don't know who my real father is, only my foster father Dagon.
What does Dagon say about your mother? Did he know her?
I suppose I should talk, but he's a quiet man.
Well, you might want to ask why you still have the chance. He may have his reasons, and if he were to pass away suddenly, you'd never know. All right, go on and ask.
And don't think we got... Well, we did get some influence with her. Yeah, not that much, but still, influence gains. Nishka. Where's Nishka?
What's going on?
Tell me a little about yourself.
Me? Well, I don't know. I'm me, I guess.
You sound a little surprised.
No one usually asks, so finding the words is a little hard. Trust me. People usually make up the whole story once they spot the demon blood, if they ask at all.
Well, I'd like to know. I'm curious.
This is so exciting. Wow, where to begin? Okay, well, I have no idea who my mom or dad was. I was abandoned, but raised by priests who tried to convert me, so I went away for a long time.
Priests?
Yeah, priests of Helm. The Watcher. the vigilant one, kind to children. Were they a hard-headed bunch? Really up on the discipline, not so much on the caring and forgiveness. But they're priests of Helm, so what are you gonna do?
Not much on forgiveness.
Yeah, I mean, we all get into trouble sometimes, or a lot. And I guess they ran out of I forgive yous at some point. Anyway, so after helping myself to their collection plate after a particularly moving sermon, I decided to see what else I could help myself to. But you know, those tales could fill a book, and I don't want to chew your ear off. Maybe some other time. Questions. Go ahead, I'm all horns.
So, you're a tiefling.
Yeah, but shh, don't tell anyone. I wouldn't want anyone else to figure it out. I mean, aside from the horns and the traces of demon blood. Questions. Go ahead, I'm all horns.
Do you have any useful skills?
I'm good at slipping into places, but not all the time. Coaxing locks to open, dodging traps, you know, subtle stuff. And I may have accidentally backstabbed some people in the past, but if they couldn't see me coming, well, that's their loss. Questions. Go ahead, I'm all horns.
Not much I can ask. Kilgar.
What is it you want, lass?
Tell me a little about yourself.
Well, there's a great deal to tell. Especially if we're going with clan history and our accomplishments.
Please no.
But chances are, and I don't blame you, you're just asking about me, personally. So let me give you the short version. I've been traveling the Sword Coast for a year or two, making my trade at villages and towns, and, well, making my trade at taverns as well, but you already had a taste of that at the Weeping Willow.
Why were those men trying to attack you outside the Weeping Willow?
They were in the mood to threaten, but not fully in the mood to start a fight. I think they were expecting me to drop the coin and leave quickly, which just goes to show you they don't know me too well. It's a shame they didn't keep it a friendly fight. Some people have no stomach for using their fists when they have a weapon at hand.
Why are you so eager to fight?
Eager to fight? Well, I suppose I am. If you can call it that. I mean, it's all in good fun. Some take pride in craftsmanship, or in hunting, or in haggling for the best price on a blade or other piece of steel. Me? Talking with my fists is my art form. Every tavern's an opportunity, I say. There's usually someone who could take a few punches to the gut and groin before they start weeping like a child.
But why do you do that?
Well, I don't know. I enjoy it, I guess. It's a mark of pride to be able to stand tall and take every punch, then give it right back until I'm the only one standing.
Is that how it usually turns out?
Most of the time. Only beaten really bad once. But I learned from it, and I'm determined not to let it happen again. Thing is, I'm glad it happened. It was my destiny.
What happened?
Well, you see, I used to win. Almost undefeated. But there was this time in a tavern far from here that I chose a fight that ended up choosing me. It was fate, I tell you.
You found fate in a tavern brawl.
Well, it wasn't much of a fight. You see, there were these skinny-robed humans, barely twigs, that were sitting at the bar when one of our competitions broke out. There were chairs getting smashed, people screaming, tankards being used as clubs. Ah, glorious.
I don't understand the problem.
Well, everyone was having a good time when I noticed those skinny humans were just sitting there. Not even having the decency to pay attention. Just nursing waters. Waters! So I asked them, well, shouted really, what in the hell they thought they were doing? Ignoring the fine entertainment and then insulting the establishment by not having ale?
You shouted at them.
And maybe I shoved one of them a bit. Or tried to break a chair over their skulls, since they were making a point of pretending they didn't hear me. Rude, I tell you.
Then what?
Ah, well, they used me as a bar rag first. And not a single punch I threw even hit them. Oh, they were moving too fast, and plus, I think I was seeing double or triple. Ugh, after they smashed my face into the bar a few times, they showed me the floor up close. The floor was pretty dirty by that point, by the way. Then, as the final blow, they sent me flying like a drunk hippogriff out the window. Magical it was. So, after I woke up and wiped the blood out of my eyes, and finally found all my teeth, I went back in and thanked them. Best beating I've ever received. They seemed a little taken aback by my friendliness, and it turns out they were part of some order. Son something or other, and get this, they devoted their lives to fighting with their fists. Can you imagine? Lifetime devotion to brawling. It's their lives, their craft.
So they were monks.
They're monks, eh? Crazy water-drinking fools. Hope drinking water isn't what makes them fight like that. Anyway, that life sounded like destiny to me. I mean, those skinny excuses for humans were good. And then they spent their whole lives kicking the hell out of others, training for it. That's when I knew that's what I wanted to do with my life. My purpose was clear.
I don't think kicking the hills out of others is the point of a monastic order.
Huh? Of course it is. Well, as far as I could tell once my head stopped ringing.
It's more of a state of mind and body.
You mean like headbutting someone? I already know how to do that, though sometimes I need to grab them by the beard or collar and yank their head down so I could hit it properly.
And it's not about the violence, Kilgar.
Oh, is that so? Well, I must have missed that part while they were wiping down the tavern with my face and throwing me through a window. Shows how much you know about it. You didn't see them in action. All right, go on and ask them.
Who are you? Yeah, I think we know that, but why is it even an option?
Kelgar Iron Fist, of course. It's a wonder you haven't heard of me, considering how I've made my mark up and down the Sword Coast for almost a year. All right, go on and ask them.
I need to know more about you if you're going to travel with me.
Well, there's a great deal to tell. But chances are, and well, making my trade at taverns as well, but... All right, go on and ask them.
I wanted to talk to you about becoming a monk.
Ah, what about it?
Kilgar, to learn how to fight, sometimes you have to learn how not to fight.
Huh? What? You like switching words around? That makes no sense at all.
What I'm saying is there's more to fighting than fighting.
It makes no sense. It's wordplay. Riddles.
If I prove to you otherwise over the course of our travel, will you at least consider it?
Maybe. I'm not making any promises, but if you could make good on it, then I'll chew it over, yes. All right, go on and ask them.
Have you heard the word Kalakcha before?
It's no proper dwarf curse, that's for sure. Sounds like something they want to find pretty badly, though, whatever it is. All right, go on and ask them.
Wanted to ask you about some of our companions.
Huh? Like who?
You seem more well-disposed to Nishka than before. Even Eleni to some extent.
Well, that frail lass is one of the copper elves. Wood elves. They're a stone's throw more tolerable than some of the other kin. But she's still an elf. Their kind stood with the shield dwarves in the north, so I'll stand by her if need be. She needs to comb her hair, though. And put a little meat on that slim belly of hers. You'd think she was trying to be a tavern dancer with a belly like that. Makes my stomach churn.
Maybe crazy, but it may qualify as meeting the trials of the even-handed that your monks put before you.
Huh? Not a bad idea. All right, go on and ask them.
those are all the important ones. Since we already started this, we might as well just see it through.
Yes?
I'm mainly interested about learning what they like and dislike. Also, if the conversations are influence milking mechanism, or if I would have to actually have the character in the group get anything out of him or her. What about your shop? I still wanted to buy and sell items.
Don't worry, I have put Leomon's merchant elemental in my stead back at the shop.
A what?
It's difficult to explain, but trust me, you'll still be able to trade there if you wish, and use the alchemy workbench. Very well, what answers do you seek?
Why was the Black Lake district closed again?
It seems Lord Dalaran was murdered, and the rumors suggest a wizard was involved. I doubt Dalaran could have done much except try to tax the assailant to death.
Do you know much about Dalaran?
Well, I am not one to speak badly of the dead, but Dalaran most likely deserved whatever death he had coming, and deserves to be buried in the betrayer's graveyard. It was a wonder that he wasn't exiled during the war with Luskin for his questionable involvement with weapon shipments, but the matter was not brought to light. Yet somehow, Nasher ended up getting a deed to his lands, a tithe against future levies, and a full company of additional soldiers.
You think Nasher secretly forgave him in exchange for more resources?
Times were difficult, and it was a necessary oversight on Nasher's part, but Dalaran never deserved to live past the war with Luskin.
So he may have been murdered justly. That's, no. I'll ask it anyway.
I doubt any murder is truly just, but did he deserve to be tried and executed? Oh, yes. Very well. What answers do you seek?
Know anything more about the murder of Lord Dalaran?
Well, I am not one to speak badly of the... It was a wonder, but the matter was not brought to light. Very well. What answers do you seek?
Have you ever heard the term Kalakcha?
Well, it's not Elvish. Too harsh and guttural. But not as crude as Orcish. The word sounds like a title, though, like betrayer. Perhaps a linguist would know more, but not I. Very well. What answers do you seek?
What do you know of Black Garius?
The name is familiar. I believe he was once a low-level wizard of the host tower of the Arcane, but to have him rise so high, so quickly... He must have gained a powerful patron indeed. He was cunning and had skill with the craft, but not enough to warrant this.
Anything we can use against him?
I did not know him well, but the mere fact he has risen to power so quickly cannot mean he has a stable power base. And it must mean he made many enemies. Such enemies may reveal themselves if we seek to stop him, and they will become our allies.
Did you ever have any dealings with the House Tower of Arcane?
The true rulers of Luskin? No, no more than any other wizard in these regions. To deal with the host tower is to invite death, either slow or quick.
Influence failure. I'm not gonna press the issue.
Very well. What answers do you seek?
I wanted to ask about the trial and the evidence we need.
Yes, what of it?
How much evidence do you think we need?
Well, we'll gather it all up and see. If you think you have enough, ask me for my opinion, and I shall give it to you.
Any ideas where we should search?
To Port Last, then to Ember. Then see what we find along the way, I think. I suspect Luskin has not covered their tracks well. Nothing would please me more. Very well. What answers do you seek?
Nothing new. Looks like Sand is one of those that has to be in the group to gain influence. Has a beer.
Yes? Is there something you wish of me?
You look troubled. Are you alright?
That man who we have taken on with us, Bishop, I do not trust him, and I do not like the way he looks at you.
I appreciate your concern. It's good to know you're looking out for me.
Forgive me, it is not my affair. I only felt compelled to warn you. Very well.
What were you doing in Old Owl Well?
Many who live in the shadow of Old Owlwell have suffered greatly from orc attacks over the years. Families have been put to the sword, homes burned, and traveling merchants have been slaughtered along the high road. The orcs need to be driven back.
So you went there with those mercenaries?
I did not come with them. Those are men and women who live in Old Owlwell, who are willing to lend me their swords. They have good hearts. Living there has made them tough, capable, and their knowledge of the mountain paths have made them invaluable as scouts.
So you came here alone at first?
Yes. I thought perhaps by traveling here my sword could make a difference. Give the people living here some hope, if Neverwinter itself could not protect them.
Doesn't sound like you have much faith in Neverwinter.
I do not have faith in a city or a nation, but the people within it. The people of Old Owlwell, they know the truth of this.
Neverwinter seems to have rallied their forces.
It may seem such, but I felt that one man could make a difference, and it seems Neverwinter has joined the cause. And between our two forces, we can accomplish a greater good. Very well.
What is your concern with Neverwinter?
I did not inform them of my decision to leave, so I did not part in good graces. I suspect that many of them do not even know why I left.
Can you tell me more about this?
It is not something I wish to speak of. Perhaps another time. Very well.
Casimir seems to be another one who needs to be in the group to gain influence, so we'll never quite get that. Which is fine. Bishop and Eleni left. I would imagine Eleni could be one of those we have to talk to a little bit more, because she's more like Helgar and Nishka, early core characters.
Is there something you need?
Why are you trying to help me?
My reasons are my own, and I will share them when I wish.
Influence failure. No.
Until then, you must learn patience and trust that I am your ally in this, until the end.
It's words. I don't trust any of them to stick with me to the end. That's why I'm trying to milk influence on a certain group of core characters. I'd like to secure a certain, if not necessary people, certain classes or group functions, one way or another. I'd like to have an additional wizard. I certainly need some kind of a tank. Thief would be great, so, you know.
What did you wish to know?
Before you mentioned the circle, what did you mean?
It is not something I wish to discuss. Let us leave it for another time. If there is something else you wish to ask, then do so. But there are some things which shall remain mine and mine alone.
Were you responsible for the Badger and for rooting my enemies in place on the road? Well, I was there and I saw it, so why am I even asking?
I was the one who sent the animals of the forest to your aid, though there are fewer of them to answer my call than in days past. And yes, I summoned nature to aid you when the second group attacked. What did you wish to know?
Tell me more about the Mayor of Dead Men.
The Mare is no longer a place I know well, and where it once teemed with life, now it has fallen silent. Something stirs there, but I know not what.
You sound frightened.
It was not always the case. I have spent many years in its depths, learning its ways, and there was much to learn. Always.
Can you tell me more about it?
It's a tale for another time. and there are more pressing concerns. Perhaps in time we may discuss it further. What did you wish to know?
You seem to know a lot about the Mayor of Dead Men.
Do you think this is the first lifetime I have spent in the mists of Mer Delane? My life in the Mare dates back several lifetimes. Many of my ancestors lie beneath its waters, and my ancestors were there when Mer Delane gained its human name, before there were even such tiny settlements as West Harbor and Redfallow's Watch.
Redfallow's Watch?
The name means nothing to you, does it? Of course not. The Mare claimed it over 50 years ago in its slow march across the land, and before that was the event where it gained its human name.
Its human name?
My people once called the Mare Mer Delane, the slow tide or slow marching court. In the times before the wars of men gave it a new name, before humans settled on its shores, and those settlements are mostly gone now. Their manors and castles now ruins, desperately reaching their hands above the water. It is for all who dwell within cities that the land will take again what was taken from it, whether cut stone, carved wood, or fields sliced by the plow.
You said this wasn't your first lifetime in the Mayor of Dead Men.
No, for my father perished there in the fog, slain by orc soldiers from the mountains. It is his life that I speak of when I say lifetimes. On the year the swamp gained its new name, there was a great battle fought miles within its borders. Orcs spilling from the mountains drove humans, dwarves, and my people into the swamps, where they were surrounded, and cut down in the fog, trapped in mud where the footings of the orcs proved truer. But there were no need for graves. Their corpses were all embraced and dragged down, and what dead lay upon the surface were taken by the others who dwelled in the swamp. And so, even in the fog, the ghosts still whisper and weep of lost Mer Delane. The song taken up by countless elven widows that cry across its shores. And always, the mare seeks more dead to draw them down into its waters, down amongst the dead ones.
What happened then?
I was orphaned from that battle when the first of the circle found me wailing in the mist. In those very ruins you traveled to outside of West Harbor. They gathered me up and I made no sound. And they took me into the heart of the mare to show me its secret ways. And there was always much to learn. In time, though I knew only some of its ways, I became accepted into the circle, and accepted by the mare as well. It was only the last test that I failed.
What last test?
Perhaps we shall speak of it another time, but not now.
A lot of influence failures.
What did you wish to know?
Which is as to be expected, I suppose. If you know about the presence in the Mare, can you guide us to it?
The Mare is no longer a place I know well. Something has built a black wall, something beyond which none of the circle could pass, even with the secret ways. All it touches dies, and it is slowly growing, advancing from the heart of the Mare and driving life before it. And without life, without the land to aid us, one without the means to cross that wall is threatened to be consumed by it.
Can you tell me more about this barrier?
Such things are not born of the land. It is a blight, a presence from somewhere else that strikes at Faerun. Perhaps only by reaching beyond the land, into the libraries and tomes written on the skin of the trees and beasts, can such mysteries be made clear.
You mean books?
What did you wish to know?
Have you heard the word Kalakcha before?
It is not a dwarvish or elvish word, but I have heard some of the creatures who pursue you speak that phrase, like a title or a curse. What did you wish to know?
Do you have any skills that could help us?
There is much of the wild and the land that I know, and as I speak their language, it hears me and it will answer. If you need to speak to the beasts and those who dwell in the land, I can help you do this. There is much they see and know that those blinded to the lands do not see.
Eleni can speak to animals.
Sometimes I can shed my skin for a while, take on the form of another of the land's dwellers. There is no magic in it, just the ability to relax the mind. I am still learning its ways, but they will come to me in time. What did you wish to know?
Do you know anything about the lizard folk from the Mare?
Some of the lizard men of the Mare are trained in listening to the land, but some Some merely prey on others, and their ears are filled only by the running of prey in the swamp, rather than the swamp itself. Many of those who listen are now gone. Entire tribes who have vanished. Their absence is causing an imbalance that is swinging more and more out of control as the remaining tribes fight for dominance, or flee the mare.
Flee?
Yes, many lizardmen tribes are being driven from the mare into the lands of men, and the war is spreading, weakening the lands surrounding the mare. What did you wish to know?
Nothing. So she's more of a history book than anything else. And Bishop.
Yeah? Something you need?
You weren't too impressed with the people of Ember.
No, and neither should you. You're from West Harbor. Duncan told me what happened. The Gith show up, and you killed them. And you know what? There'd be a lot less misery in the world if everyone followed that simple rule. Either stand up and fight, or be prepared to suffer.
Agreed.
There now. Maybe I'm speaking to someone with some sense. There's learning in fighting and killing, and more in fighting for something you believe in. What would have happened if you never fought for anything? Why, you wouldn't have come all this way. Seems to me there's a strength in that, something you can learn from. And so could those fool villagers in Ember. Go ahead, but don't expect any answers.
Know anything about the mayor?
Big, dangerous swamp. Not much else to tell. Lots of battles fought there, lots of corpses lying under the water. Easy to get lost in, but you probably know that from West Harbor, right?
How did you know that?
Duncan said something about it. Said your village got attacked. Drove you to Neverwinter. Trust me, whatever happened in your village, probably a lot easier to deal with than coming to Neverwinter. But you harbormen, you're a pretty tough bunch. To be driven out of there must have been something pretty scary. Go ahead, but don't expect any answers.
Why did you become a ranger?
Well, it's because tracking and hunting help put things in perspective. Out in the wild, well, the whole predator-prey relationship is a little more honest.
And which are you?
I've been on both sides, prey and predator. And if you think you're a predator, you're usually wrong. You're always someone's prey.
So who's hunting you?
Don't know. Maybe someone, maybe no one. But chances are I'll find out someday, unless I find them first.
If you like the wilds, why were you in Neverwinter?
Because you can't always find cheap ale in the wilderness or duskwood. That's why.
Yeah, Bishop answers always begin with oh.
Go ahead, but don't expect any answers.
Okay. Any thoughts on the trial?
The trial. A Luskan trick, probably still angry with you for driving away their agents in Neverwinter. Yeah, Duncan told me about that too.
Duncan does seem to talk a lot.
Duncan sure does. Not a good one for keeping secrets, but he's always quick to call a debt when he wants.
So what do you think we should do?
Are you seriously asking me, or just making conversation? Because it seems to me a law-abiding lady like yourself might just be asking for the sake of asking. And trust me, I'll respect you a lot more if you admit it now than hear my advice and ignore it.
I want to know.
I think you should skip this whole trial and just try to kill the ambassador. That'll send a nice message to them about what you think of justice.
Seems right to me. Luskan only uses law when it's convenient for them. Just like me.
Trust me, that's the only language Luskin will understand. Still, if you don't want to waste time in court, you could just run from this, and you and I could go find some hidden trail somewhere and camp for a year or two.
I'd rather stab myself in the throat. Why not him? Rather stab him in the throat. You can't have a romance with Bishop. Unless you will. I think there's a mod for that. Was that an offer or just another snide comment?
I don't know. If it was an offer, what would you say?
No diplomatic answers or wishy-washy answers. Yes, no, stab yourself in the throat. No is the only sensible answer. Even if you would be inclined to be attracted to Bishop, you don't know him at all at this point. Not on your life.
Your life is the one at stake, not mine. You and the gallows are about to be very close friends unless you do something about it. I suppose you could follow the procedures and try to find proof of their claim. But that's only worth it if you can hurt Luskin in the process. But do what you want. I could care less.
You couldn't care less. If you could care less, then you care to some extent. I don't want to go through this every time I see that sentence. I don't understand where it's coming from, because it makes no fucking sense. So who even says that? Where is the source that horrible sentence comes from? Because some people have always used proper. I couldn't care less. That's how most people use it. But from some corner of the world, there comes that I could care less, which makes no fucking sense. It's a retarded thing to say, and I don't understand why. What's the... Because I couldn't care less. It's easy to say, it's the proper thing to say, it's the message you're trying to convey. So...
Go ahead, but don't expect any answers.
You seem to have some problems with Luskan.
Luskins? Don't give it much thought. Most of them aren't human beings anyway. They usually give up any shred of morality or dignity as part of the toll at the front gate.
Why do you hate them so much?
Because they deserve it. At least in Neverwinter, the soldiers and thieves operate with some shred of purpose or morality. Luskin. It's not even worth hating them. Look, enough about Luskins. They aren't worth talking about.
Unless we have influence.
Go ahead, but don't expect any answers.
Does the phrase Kalakcha mean anything to you?
No. Is it a phrase or a name? Sure doesn't sound like any Sword Coast town I've heard of. That's what those Gith call you, right? I assumed it was some curse, like Halfwit, or Dung Dweller, or something like that.
And we're done. So, enough story time. It seems like most of the characters that have things to say are not really giving out influence by talking. Chandra seems to be the only exception, but she's an exception in a lot of ways. What of the, I suppose, the secondary companions, like Aura is only with us because of a freak occurrence, nothing else. He was never too inclined to even come aboard. No real... we can't discuss anything that's happening with her, just gain a little bit of influence through discussions. Either way, enough with the time wasting. We're going to go watch headquarters, see what we need to do. Also, keep an eye open of any changes, any new people that we can see while we travel around. Maybe we should visit the old shopkeepers too. Mostly maybe new spells, maybe things like that. Ooh, we're gonna level up fairly soon. Excellent.